Welcome back to the 815 Exchange. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Chris Crenshaw, and we are live from the 336 once again for episode 54. Yes, the episode after the 1 year anniversary. I guess this could also be the 1 year anniversary episode. But last week was the official 1 year anniversary episode. It was a great one. Shout out to my guy Eddie once again for coming on. That was a pleasure. That was a pleasure to do. It's always fun when we have a guest. But we're back solo, and it's going to be a very short episode, honestly. This could potentially be, depending on how long I want to get into some of this stuff, this could be one of the shortest or possibly the shortest one yet. So this could be a very easy watch for you guys, honestly. Because some things happen in sports and entertainment, but not a lot. Like, some things happen, but not a lot. Some interesting things happen, but not a lot. Also, last episode from the 336 for a while because as many of you know that are around my age, we're heading back to uni. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be an interesting scenario in terms of the future. Once again, like I said, the podcast, the 815 Exchange is going absolutely nowhere. If I have to wake up in the middle of the night to record this, I will. I don't know who this is my 1 year of my college experience of I don't know who I'm rooming with. And just because the scenario of how many people are in the apartment, it could make the optics a little bit, whatever. I'll try to, it's the same apartment I was in, so we'll be back on that blue couch once again. Unless Charlotte's replaced it, we'll be back on the blue couch in the wall. But, yeah, we'll try to make that happen. Also, of course, we got in-person classes now, for those that don't know. Even though I'm sure you at home, if you're watching around my age, you're probably back in person as well. So, got in-person classes, so fitting that into my Monday schedule. This might be recorded after French, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm excited to go back to uni, but I'm also a little bit anxious. But we'll see. But, yeah, episode 55 will look a little different. Time might be a little different. Day might be a little different. We'll see. I still got a lot to figure out. But for now, episode 54, we are in fact live from the 336. And as always, in the description, we'll find everything that you need. The timestamps for each of the few topics we have today. If you need, what else? If you need my social media links, you want to follow me on Twitter, you want to follow me on TikTok, you want to follow me on Snapchat, you want to follow me on IG, for whatever reason, in the description is everything you'll ever need. It's everything you'll ever need. Even a description of what's in today's episode is in the description. It's everything you ever need is in the description. And as always, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Of course, channel growth has been amazing. I do have to make a reaction video probably today at some point, or at least record it. Shout out to Red Velvet for coming out today. I haven't listened to it. But yeah, they're back from hiatus, so we'll react to that. Any other stuff you want me to react to, it doesn't just have to be that. It doesn't have to be music, honestly. Well, any type of music is what I really meant. Any type of music video you want me to react to, feel free. Feel free to just send me through. And I'll check it out and upload a video. Do that for you guys. But without further ado, this has been kind of a long intro. Last week's intro was like 9-11 minutes. 9 to 11 minutes, I mean. We're not going to make that one this long because we don't really have, once again, too much to talk about here. But we do have enough to talk about. So we're going to start off with what I usually do as possibly usually somewhere around the last subject. This week is going to be the first subject. Ladies and gentlemen, we got the NBA. Yes. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for you at home. The NBA Summer League season is in full swing and it's already about to end. We had some very, very intriguing stuff, and really what I want to highlight, of course, is Jalen Green and Cade Cunningham. Now, I know, Summer League, we're not supposed to make a big deal about it because it's the Summer League, and I understand that. It's the Summer League, but I feel just like the NFL preseason, right? Though you shouldn't take it too to heart because it's not, them playing who they're going to play during the regular season, but you still want to perform well. I understand there's people like Trae Young and Curry and so on and so forth that didn't have great summer leagues but went on to be great players. But, you still should be able to get excited and be able to project things that you see in the summer league from these players. And, yeah, especially at the top of the draft, it's been a very interesting watch. Of course, I meant to talk about Cade and Jalen. How should I start this? Let's start with JG. Let's start with JG because this is all going to revolve around a question I want to ask the audience. And if I do get around to uploading this clip, hopefully on TikTok, I want to ask you this question at home, and you can just answer it now. Who do you think will be the Rookie of the Year? Who do you think is going to have a better career? Cade Cunningham or Jalen Green? They were my number 1A and my number 1B. Throughout all of my scouting, they've been the number 1 or number 2 player pretty much their whole high school. Well, JG was pretty much top 5 throughout his entire, he was top 5 his entire career. Cade kind of took a jump after his sophomore year, and then he transferred to Mount Vernon and really went to, new heights. But they've been pretty much contending for that number 1, number 2 spot. There was some stuff that Jalen said about him going at Detroit. And, Detroit fans, not all Detroit fans. There's a little bit of toxicity coming from both fandoms, but that's understandable with, the hype of this draft class and the hype of these 2 picks. But, like I said, JG said some stuff. Of course, Cade and JG played. JG won JG won the matchup, I guess. Technically, he got the dub. And you can argue that it was pretty much kind of like a stalemate. I think Cade had better individual moments in that game. In terms, like, he had the Jalen oversold. Jalen didn't really get his ankles broke. I mean, he did, but he didn't really get his ankles broke. Everybody's acting like he almost dropped him. Jalen oversold. Cade made a fantastic behind-the-back move. Got over, made the 3. That was a great move from Cade. Got him there. I think Cade had some of the better individualistic moments, but JG overall in that game was the better player. Of course, that doesn't mean that JG is the better player. Once again, it's Summer League, but it's something, it was nice to see them match up, nice to see how maybe the translation from the G League and from college, see a little bit of the difference there against guys in their own age group and see how JG has evolved. Now, like I said, I wanted to start off with JG. And starting off with that is simple. It's very simple. We need to stop this whole scheme of Jalen Green is simply just a scorer. Jalen Green is not just simply a scorer. He's not. He's not. If somebody tells you that Jalen Green, all he does is score and that's the only thing he can do, then they don't watch basketball. Stop listening to them. Immediately. Immediately stop listening to them. That is the most oversimplification of a player I think you can make. Jalen Green is not just a scorer. Now, he is a wonderful scorer. He can make shots, as he showed in the Summer League. He can make shots from everywhere. He has an array of moves. His mid-range game is developing. We saw him hit that fadeaway 3. That was pretty. We saw him hit a couple of those, honestly. Of course, his step back was absolutely lethal in Summer League. His 3-ball was working. I think he had 50-50, 90 splits before he got injured and, had the hamstring injury. He had 50-50, 90 splits, which is ridiculous. I think his true shooting was in the 60s. Absolutely insane stuff efficiency-wise. He's not a volume scorer. He's just a pure scorer. Don't get it wrong. Pure, unadulterated, born to score. But he's not some volume, I need to take a bunch of shots to fill it up. That's not how he works. Also, the playmaking is much improved. It's much developed. Not perfect. There were certain situations, especially early on in that Pistons game, where they brought the pressure. Also, I don't know if I've ever seen a dude get double and triple teamed in Summer League, but I digress. They brought the pressure early on. JG, once again, you saw the youth, you saw the inexperience in those situations. He didn't know what to do. Of course, that evolved, and we saw him, especially with Segan, who was fantastic. I'm going to talk about the Rockets after I talk about this JGK that may be transitioned into it. But he made that, made that switch. Him and Kenyon Martin Jr., KJ, really got into that pick and roll game, and you saw him improving. You saw how improved he is as a passer. Not a perfect. He's by no means some virtuoso LeBron or Luka or, CP3 type playmaker. Don't get it wrong. He's not. But he still is showing a lot of signs of being a good playmaker. I always said he was a true 2 guard, but maybe he's a little bit of a combo guard. Defensively, the myth that Jalen Green is bad defensively, once again, is just simply a myth. It's simply a myth. He is a very capable defender. Now, Josh Christopher of that Rockets team, J-Gup, shout out to J-Gup. I think he had 22 against the Magic yesterday. So shout out to J-Gup. He's had some great games. Didn't have a great game the game before against the Raptors, but none of them really did. Besides JG, and JG got hurt in that game. But Gup has shown, I don't know why people didn't think Gup was a defender. Gup is a great defender. I mean, I don't know how. I guess it's because he was injured again at Arizona State, so people had their questions. But anyways, JG, also good defender. He has the potential to be a good defender, right? And he's not a defensive liability right now. He's not some turns, type. He's not going to get burned every play. On multiple occasions, we've seen him lock up somebody in Summer League. He is a very willing defender, and it's because he's a great athlete, right? So the myth that he can't defend, that's also a myth. Dude has, I know what his comp is, right? I know what his comp is. Zach LaVine's close. Bradley Beal, maybe like a more explosive Bradley Beal, but I know what his real comp is, but I feel like people would get angry if I said what the two players that you may be thinking of as well when you look at Jalen Green and watch him play. There's a certain two players, but they're held on such a pedestal because of how great they were. I can't say that is his, ceiling, even though I'm not saying he'll be great as those two players, but that's his comp. That's the same vein he is in. Whether people want to realize that or not, they're going to realize it regardless because that's just, who JG is. Now let's talk about Cade. Cade hasn't had the best time. That's partially because the Pistons team is their Summer League team is not great. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's not great. Though Luka Garza, shout out to you. You've been pretty good. Killian has been up and down. We're not gonna talk about Sequoia. Cade has been up and down. He's had some great moments, like when he hit 7 threes, I think 2 days ago, and absolutely went berserk, right? But the playmaking hasn't really been there. There's been some turnovers. There's been some defensive lapses, while there's also been some defensive, moments of defensive brilliance. Cade is 6'6". Don't know why we were saying 6'8". I think we just kind of added 2 inches out of nowhere. He's 6'6", okay? He's 6'6". He's not LeBron. That's the first step. Cade Cunningham is not LeBron. Okay? LeBron is 6'9". Much more athletic when he was younger. And pretty much probably going to be more athletic than Cade was his entire career. Okay? Cade is not LeBron. Yes, Cade is a jumbo-sized playmaker that can also score in bunches, right? But he is not LeBron. Luka might be a little bit closer, but I feel like Luka has a little bit more, tools in the tool shed. He's a little bit more crafty than Cade. But Cade is still an excellent prospect. Don't get me wrong. I'm not ragging on Cade. I'm a big believer in Cade Cunningham's potential, right, and what his abilities are. But Cade is not. He hasn't had the best summer league, right? But that's okay. Once again, it's summer league. He hasn't shot particularly. Besides the 7 threes game, he hasn't been too efficient with the shot. Of course, playmaking opportunities hasn't been the best because of his team missing shots. So it's been kind of up and down, defensive lapses. I think Cade overall is going to be okay. It might take him a little while to adjust, against when we get to the regular season. It might take him a little while more to adjust than people originally thought. But I still believe Cade's going to be a great prospect, and the Pistons ultimately, they're going to be all right. They're going to be all right. Other summer league standouts I got here. Cam Thomas has been going stupid for the Nets. He had 36, which is a summer league high yesterday. Dude he's a beast. Okay, Cam he's a bucket. He's a walking bucket. Okay, he's up there with JG in terms of pure scoring ability in this draft class. I don't think he's going to be, dropping 30 balls, when we get to the regular season, of course. But I think he could be a very useful asset off the bench for that Nets team. When you want to take a KD or Kyrie or Harden out, you still have somebody that can get a bucket, any day of the week in Cam Thomas. And I think that's huge, huge, huge for the Nets in terms of depth. Kai Jones seems to be banging on everybody. Kai Jones' draft stock took a tumble as we got closer and closer towards the draft. But hey, that Hornets team looking very exciting. And Kai Jones, he had the highlight dunk He's been pretty good. James Book Knight has been pretty good as well. Book has been pretty good, showing off the potential, showing off the two-way potential a little bit as well. Honestly, he might be the closer comparison for Zach LaVine, if I'm being honest, than maybe JG. I feel like Book and LaVine, that's a pretty good comp, and if Book gets as good as that, that's very good for the Hornets with what they're already building, you know. Also, got to talk about him, LiAngelo Ball. We talked about him last week. Jello been balling out. He been balling out. Got to give some respect to Jello. He's been balling out. He's been doing his thing. Will he make the team? We'll see. But he's been doing his thing. Sharif Cooper also. Don't know why he dropped that far. Don't know why Sharif dropped that far, but he did, and that's y'all's mistake. Y'all going to have to live with that. We'll see how he does in the regular season. Him and Jalen Johnson might end up being 2 steals in terms of value for the Hawks. So great job there from them. Also in NBA news to wrap up as we move away from the Summer League. It's a pretty big trade, I guess, in terms of names. Pat Bev. You know, when he said the next 5 years were ours 3 years ago, it just has not worked out. And now we're going to see if the next 2 with the Grizzlies are his, as he got traded along with Rondo and Daniel Arturo to the Memphis Grizzlies for Eric Bledsoe. This is an interesting move for the Clippers, in my opinion, because Eric Bledsoe just seems to be poison. I mean, poison to whatever team he goes to. But nonetheless, go crazy, Clippers. Maybe you bring back Bledsoe to a solid level. But interesting move there. Pat Bev going to Memphis just seems to make sense, though. The grindhouse. Bev is notoriously a grinder type player. So it kind of makes sense. Honestly, it kind of makes sense. It might be a good move. You know, Pat Bev's a pest. They love themselves a pest. They love themselves some defense in Memphis. So we'll see how that fit goes. But honestly, I kind of like it. But you can let me know how you feel about the trade. And like I said before, let me know, even outside of Cade and JG, if it's Mobley or it's Jay Suggs, who had a great summer league before he got hurt. Let me know. Scotty's also been great. Let me know who you think is going to win Rookie of the Year. And out of Cade and JG, who do you think is going to have a better career? But yeah, that's the NBA. Now to move over to the soccer world. And I don't know how I didn't talk about this when this was happening last week. But nonetheless. Actually, I might have talked about it in the roundup. Well, we're going to talk about it for real right here. Messi is with PSG. And I still don't believe it. That 30 is going to take some getting used to. Now, I know he used to wear it back in whatever, 05, 06, whenever he first got to Barca. But that is going to take some getting used to. You understand? It's going to take some getting used to. Also, PSG starts off with the win in their first league game as well. Got the win 4-2. Mbappe got whistled and booed. Now, I don't know if it's because he missed the penalty or because of the rumors of him going to Real Madrid and the pressure Nasser is putting now on Mbappe to re-sign, because now he has a God squad, right? They got Donnarumma, they got Hakimi, they got Sergio Ramos, they got Wijnaldum, and they got Messi, one of the greatest players, if not the greatest player, to ever kick a soccer ball or football or whatever you want to call it, right? To kick a ball. The GOAT, possibly. They've given him everything he needs, right? But, you know, the rumors to Real Madrid persist. So PSG fans don't seem to be too happy about that. I personally think he should stay, at least for this season, right? Needs to stay with PSG, because you're not going to, even if you go to Real Madrid, you're not going to have a better chance at making history than with the front three of you, Neymar, and Messi. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. That might be one of the best front threes in the history of the sport. They might surpass MSN. They could score an unreasonable, an egregious, a disgusting amount of goals with Neymar, Mbappe, and Messi up top. That could be, I mean, disgusting. Disgusting. With the improvements made to the defense of the midfield. And of course you got Keylor Navas already. And now you got Gianluigi Donnarumma, who looks like he's going to become the best goalkeeper in the world sooner than later. It's just, PSG is set up to win. They're set up to win. They're set up to win. It's Champions League or bust, regardless of whether Mbappe stays or if he goes. But I think he should stay. But yeah, interesting situation there. Speaking of generational prospects or generational talents like Mbappe, like Donnarumma, how about we talk about the third member of this exclusive clique, and that is Erling Haaland, the machine. It doesn't make sense. Dortmund had their debut game of their season in the Bundesliga against Frankfurt, Eintracht Frankfurt. Gio Reyna gets the goal. We love to see that. He's stepping up as Sancho has left. And, of course, Reyna, now 18, has now, graduated in Dortmund terms up to the first squad. So that should be fun to watch. But Erling Haaland is still a Dortmund player, and he is still the machine. 2 assists, 2 goals. He's dominant. He's just so dominant. It's inevitable. He feels inevitable that he's going to get a goal or assist contribution in every game. He's just dominant. And at his age, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Generational. Generational. Straight up. Generational. Going over to the Premier League, of course, the big news for Chelsea this week was, besides playing Crystal Palace and Pulisic scoring, Captain America getting the goal in that first game, Trevor Chabala as well making his debut for Chelsea and also getting the goal. Congratulations. He made it out of the lone army. Is they picked up and returned Romelu Lukaku from a dire situation in Inter, who after they won the Scudetto last year, it's looking horrific. At least it seems like the Turo's staying, but Inter's down bad. But Lukaku has returned to Chelsea, and that attack just got even better. Even better. The only thing that team was missing up front with, Pulisic, Ziyech, Werner, Havertz, of course, Mason Mount, Jorginho, Conte, right? The only thing they were missing up top and past the midfield was a true striker. It was supposed to be Timo, but he's more great at making runs, right? He might be better if you have another striker, another pure goal scorer like a Romelu Lukaku out there. I feel like that could work out perfectly. And what do you know? They go and get Lukaku. I think this Chelsea team could contend for the Premier League as they should and could really do some damage. They could really do some damage. They won the Super Cup this week against Villarreal in penalties. And what was a pretty good game. Pretty good game versus Villarreal. They get the Super Cup. So, yeah, Chelsea off to a hot start. Man City in the Harry Kane situation. Harry Kane did not play for Spurs against Man City. A lot of rumors about Kane going to Man City. But Spurs said, all right, no Kane, no problem. They still got Heung-min Son. Sani. He gets the goal in, I think, the 55th minute. Spurs beats Man City. Pep down bad. We'll see if they push for that Kane transfer just a little bit more. And even to rub it in a little bit more for Spurs fans of how good this opening weekend was, Arsenal is down horrendous. Oh my, how the mighty has fallen. Oh my, how the mighty have fallen. Arsenal, what happened? What happened? You used to be amongst the top in the world. Amongst the best in the world. You were acclaimed. The Invincibles. And even after the Invincibles, you still have respect. There is no respect. They lost to Brentford 2-0 in their opening match. Mikel Arteta is on the hot seat for sure. Arsenal. Where is rock bottom? Where is rock bottom? Because they just keep falling and falling and falling. And I'm not sure where rock bottom is at this point. I'm really not sure. But for the rest of you Gunners fans, good luck to you. It's looking like it might be a long season potentially. But, like I said, good luck, best of wishes. But it's not looking very pretty for you. Now let's move over, ladies and gentlemen, to the entertainment. Let's take a little intermission and head over to entertainment. No music dropped. No, it looked like Mike Dean was out of Donda. But then he came back. It was whatever situation there is going on with that camp. Who God knows what's going on there. But we did have some television. We did some television drop this week, ladies and gentlemen. What If? The What If series. We had our Marvel withdrawals for I think 2 weeks after Loki was gone. But we back. What If? And we started off with Captain Carter. Peggy Carter. In this case, in this scenario, she was the one that after Steve got shot, of course, this is all spoiler alert. If you haven't watched it for whatever reason, go watch. Pause the video. Actually, after this video, just skip ahead to the next, whatever. the next segment, and then go watch What If because it was great. But Peggy Carter, in this case, she comes Captain America, as you probably could tell from me saying Captain Carter. She becomes Captain Carter, and honestly, was great. A lot of different things happened. Bucky didn't become the Winter Soldier. Steve actually wore the first Iron Man suit. Peggy gets locked away while Steve survives and, is left missing her. Steve and Steve and Howard Stark go on to form S.H.I.E.L.D. in this case. So had that change happen, of course, Bucky and Steve got to, live the rest of their lives as best friends, even though I'm sure he missed Peggy. Peggy comes back at the end there as Captain Carter, Captain Britain. Interesting scenario. It was an interesting scenario, seeing how everything changed. What happened to Red Skull? They got the Hydra octopus or squid that came out and was just, killing everybody. So yeah, it was very, very, very interesting to see kind of another scenario, like a what if, which is what this series is about, is the what if, exploring different timelines. If one thing changed, how would it affected the rest of the world? And yeah, super interesting. Can't wait for the next episode. Of course, we've seen some previews of different type of stuff. Of course, we got Chadwick Boseman, God rest his soul, in his final performances, Black Panther coming up. So we'll see how that goes. Final performance. Really, I should say it's T'Challa because he's not playing Black Panther in the What If series. But as T'Challa, so we'll be looking forward to that. But yeah, What If off to a good start. Titans. I gotta take a water break. Shout out to Deer Park, unofficial water sponsor. But Titans. At first I was feeling like, man, this is feeling really rushed. It's feeling really rushed. Titans, despite the great, casting choices, let's say, and just the premise, right, that it should be Money in the Bank. But due to some storytelling problems and some, script problems, they've kind of faltered a little bit last season, and it felt a little rushed, if I'm being honest, these first 3 episodes. Until we got to episode 3. I would have never in my life seen, I don't know how Jason is redeemable. Now, let me shout out Kieran Walters. I knew he was going to kill it, but shout out to Kieran. He is great as Jason Todd. Red Hood is fantastic in this show. Also, shout out to Babs. I don't know who the actress is for Babs, but Barbara Gordon is fantastic in the show. Her dynamic with Dick is great. If you don't know, Nightwing, Dick Grayson, whatever you want to call him, Agent 37, he is my favorite comic book character, so I much so love Titans because Dick gets a lot of love, in the show. He's basically the main character, if we're being honest. But loved what they've done with Red Hood. Episode 3 was one of the best episodes they've ever done. Possibly the best episode. It was interesting seeing Hawk and Dove's dynamic. And, Hank and Dawn. And just, seeing them kind of recapture that love as Red Hood had put that explosive in or attached to Hank's, chest, heart area. And they were racing against the clock. I like how competent they've made Connor, right? Connor's not some slouch or some himbo. They've made Connor very competent. Now, I think they need to do something with, Beast Boy and get him more involved. We'll see what happens when Raven comes back. Very interested to see what happens with, shout out to Anna Diop because she's great as Starfire. Very interested to see what happens with her and, how they get more involved here. But, my, I did not expect. I've never really had a problem with Hank, like some people have. But I never really loved Hank like I loved Hank in episode 3. And then at the end, oh my goodness. That was great writing. That was great writing. For a series that has had problems with writing, that was great writing to end that, and great directing to end that episode and end the first batch with Dawn pulling the trigger that inadvertently kills just as Connor finishes it and gets it under 1%, no fail, so we can just insert the chip and save Hank. Because of Dawn's, anger and emotion, she succumbs to what Jason set out for her in the trap, and she pulls the trigger, which ends up being the trigger for the bomb, and she ends up being the one that kills Hank. And then the emotional moments after all, it was just great. And if you haven't watched it, once again, please go to HBO Max, or however you want to watch it. HBO is not, HBO Max, HBO, if you want to put me under contract, feel free. I will promote and shtick and sell out or whatever you need me to do, I will do it. But for now, however you need to find or watch Titans, feel free to do it. But watch it, because I'm very interested to see what happens in the next 3. But yeah, Titans off to a fast start. On Stars, the series Hills came out. I will try to check that out. I'm very interested in that. As me being a little bit of professional wrestling, at least in my past, I was a big professional wrestling fan. So very interested to see that. And those series are usually interesting to me. So I'll try to check that out. Stephen Amell, Alexander Skarsgård star in that. So we'll see how that goes and if I get around to it. But that was entertainment. Now to head over to the MLB very quickly. Tristan McKenzie. Let's talk about Tristan McKenzie, right? Highly touted coming out of the minor leagues. He's got the stuff, but he's struggled with a little bit with command, right? And this led to an inflated ERA. But he had it all going together. Yesterday against the Padres. I mean, not the Padres, but against the Tigers. He had it all going. Tristan McKenzie had a perfecto through 8. It gets stopped. He looked very sad about, ending the perfect game. Or losing the perfect game, should I say. But a great outing for a guy that's a pretty highly, thought of and highly regarded pitcher coming up. And we'll see how the Indians continue to develop him. He's still a very young guy. I'm a big fan of Tristan McKenzie, so we'll see how that goes. Other big stuff for pitchers as well. Tyler Gilbert, no hit in his first career start against the Padres. Tatis once again homered as he came back from, if he can stay healthy, he could win NL MVP, but I digress. Tyler Gilbert, first career start. I don't know if you can have a better first career start. No hits the Padres, so shout out to Tyler Gilbert. A lone bright spot in what's been a season of misery for the Diamondbacks. They have the worst record in the league, if you didn't know. It's just bad, but Tyler Gilbert was up good. Shohei Ohtani, ERA is now under 3, and he's now 1 home run away from 40. He's kind of pulling away. Vlad hasn't been his best. He's kind of pulling away. Me and Eddie talked about this last week. But yeah, I think Shohei is definitely in the driver's seat now for MVP. The season he's having is just absolutely ridiculous. But what I really, of course, in the big story from this week, besides the no-hitter by Tyler Gilbert, was the Field of Dreams game. The most watched MLB regular season game since 2005. A lot of hype was put around the Field of Dreams game. Of course, we had the White Sox and the Yankees. Kevin Costner showed up, did the whole speech. It was all nostalgic about the 1989 classic of a movie. But how was the on-field product, right? Well, even though I'm a Yankees fan, I have to admit and be partial here, it was fantastic. It was a fantastic game. It was one of the games of the year. Even though in my spite, I was like, this wasn't that good. It was that good. It was a magical night. Honestly, it was a magical night. I think the Field of Dreams game could be similar to the Winter Classic for the NHL. I think it should be, done maybe like I said, once a year, have the teams come in and do the whole stick. And yeah, it was a magical night in Iowa. Judge went crazy. He had 2 home runs. Stanton home run. It looked like the Yankees were going to win late after they took that late lead, I think in the 8th inning. But then Tim Anderson with a sweet, not even bat flip, but just like a bat release. And it was a no-doubter home run. He walks it off. Fireworks. It was an incredible scene. The photos from it were fantastic. Of course, I was probably popping up right there. But Field of Dreams game definitely delivered. White Sox, congratulations. Yankees. What more to say, man? What more to say? What more to say? It's just been that type of season. Now to head over, ladies and gentlemen, as we have finished, like I said, not too many, not a lot of topics, but I did have a lot to talk about, I guess, in them. But we have reached the roundup. And with that said, the NFL season is on. The NFL season is on. The NFL season is on. The preseason has started. The rookie quarterbacks had their own individual performances. They all look pretty good, honestly. I think Lance and Fields definitely shine the brightest, but Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, all were pretty good as well. Again, you don't want to take too much from preseason. You can take some things again, I'm not saying don't get excited. It's just like the Summer League, right? Don't get overly excited about what happens in the preseason. Because sometimes you just got some preseason warriors. some preseason all-stars. But it's a good way to see the young talent and, see them get their first experience, first taste of an NFL game, see what they look like in that jersey, and, how they do. And, so shout out to Fields. I think he probably had the best performance. I think it's fair to say. I always thought he was going to be a very good pick for he was my number 2 quarterback. I'd have picked him over Zach Wilson. But nonetheless, we'll see what happens in the season. But NFL preseason underway. NFL fans, football fans around the world rejoice. We're almost back. I think college football season starts next week. So, yeah, week 0. We back. Now to come back to the 336. Of course, this past week we had the Wyndham Championship right up the street at Sedgefield. A 6-way overtime, a 6-way sudden death overtime, or something crazy like that. It was insanity. It was absolute insanity. Adam Scott, a lot of choking going on. But you know what? Kevin Kisner, shout out to you. 15 under, he gets the win at the Wyndham. Wyndham, always, great to see the traffic come through. Even though it's not great for travel, it's nice to see, everybody in town, people showing up to the golf course, and, all the type of stuff that happens when the Wyndham's in town. It's always nice for the city. But Kevin Kisner wins the Wyndham. Shout out to you. And, of course, the big thing this weekend, next weekend, not this weekend, in the future, combat sports. Of course, we'll be talking about Tyron Woodley and Jake Paul. On Sunday, and why do they always fight on Sunday? I feel like you should fight on Saturday. But anyways, they fight Sunday night. Tyron Woodley, which is the day before class. Once again, I don't know why it just feels dangerous. It feels inherently dangerous to make us have the first day of school on a Monday, the weekend after we get back. Anybody that has any type of life experience or went to college or really is just a young adult, right? What happens the first weekend back of college? Now imagine having school on a Monday, but I digress. They have it Monday night, so I'm probably going to be very, very tired for episode 55 because I also have French class right before I probably record the episode. But nonetheless, Tyron, Jake, I'm not going to make a prediction here. All I'm going to say is this could go really bad for Jake Paul. This could go really bad for Jake. If he loses, because then it's like the mystique is gone, all the money, all the hype, all the fame. And I know there's a lot of people that would really, really, really like to see that happen. But this could go really bad for Jake. Really, really bad for Jake, depending on how good of a boxer Tyron has developed into over the course of this training camp. Because even though he was a solid striker, he was a good striker. I can say he was a good striker in, the UFC. But it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different when you have to get into that ring, right? It's not always just a seamless transition. But this could also, once again, go really bad for Tyron Woodley. He could end up on every meme. He could be getting somebody's getting torched on Twitter, right? Somebody on Sunday night, Monday morning is going to get slaughtered on Twitter. Now, will it be Jake Paul or Tyron Woodley? I don't know. Now, whether it's Jake or Tyron, I don't know, right? I don't know, but it's not going to go well for somebody. And for Tyron, you got a lot to lose as well. Not just Jake, you got a whole lot to lose. Your legacy is on the line. Now, you'll always be a UFC Hall of Famer, a future Hall of Famer. Well, he's going to be a UFC Hall of Famer because of his welterweight reign. He was one of the best welterweights of all time. But your legacy is on the line. If you get punked by Jake Paul, this is not going to be a good scene for you. It's not going to be a good scene for you. The whole MMA community is counting on you to redeem them from whatever happened in that Ben Askren fight, because Ben Askren was not about that life. Tyron Woodley claims to be about that life. Now, I want to get this out of the way because I know people are going to be like, oh, if Tyron loses, oh, he was paid off or he took a dive. He is not taking a dive, okay? Unless he's getting paid billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. There will be no diving. There will be no taking a dive. There is no amount of money that could repair his reputation if he gets punked by Jake Paul. There is none amount. This is his legacy. This is his legacy. There will be no dive. Again, that's ridiculous. I can show you a corrupt fight, right? We've seen it happen time and time again. Even this year in boxing, we've seen some suspect scorecards. But they're not going to rig a Jake Paul, Tyron Woodley fight. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Somebody's going to win. Somebody's going to lose. It might not be who you want to win, or it might not be who you want to lose, but it's going to happen. It's inevitable. It's the fight game. It happens. Happens. And before I end here, shout out to Carly Lloyd. Again, legend. One of the greatest, I can probably say one of the greatest female soccer players of all time, right? Or at least one of the greatest American soccer players of all time. Carly Lloyd is retiring. I think it's about time, with all due respect to Carly. She hasn't been up to her level, up to her standards past couple years. Though she's been good, but, not prime Carly, and she's getting up there in age. But yeah, she's a legend. Absolute legend. Gold medals, World Cups. She's done it all. She's done it all. Scored, I think she's probably top 5 in goals, I'd say, right, for America. So yeah, shout out to Carly. She was a special talent. Appreciated watching her over the years. Enjoy retirement. And yeah, I know we got the pre-classic, so I might talk about that for track and field. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, episode 54 is done. It is done. I appreciate you guys for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Next week might be a little bit different. We'll see what happens. But like I said, there will be an episode 55. The 815 exchange will not be going anywhere. Will it be uploaded on a Monday? I don't know. Will it be uploaded later than usual? I don't know. But there will be an episode 55 is what I do know. And I do appreciate all the love. Reaction videos, of course, coming at some point this week. But without further ado, hope you guys enjoy the week. I'll go back to uni. Pray for me. Pray for my life. Like and subscribe if you want to lift my mood. But yeah, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed. Ocho signing off.